Hello out to all you wonderful people. This is Andre, the Game My Dear Guy. Thank you once again for lending me your time and your ear, listening into another Gamer's Thoughts discussion. And we have a few different subjects to talk about today, or this evening, depending on when you actually hear this. Firstly, we're going to cover the big fighting game news, Street Fighter 6. So we don't get gameplay. We just get a trailer of Ryu standing shirtless and looking brooding, and Luke stepping into the picture basically to challenge him to a fight and flexes his muscles and his arm becomes veiny and everything. Okay, that's really impressive as a cutscene, but what does it mean? Because we don't really know anything about this new game, and it looks to me as something that I've hoped Capcom would learn from. Don't just introduce a new character into the spotlight and not do anything really well with them. They shoehorned Alex into the spotlight, didn't do much with him. You could tell if you followed any of the history of Street Fighter, you could tell that Sean was supposed to be the Shoto that was supposed to be in the spotlight for Street Fighter 3, but he never really got the chance to shine. Sakura is a very popular character that's supposed to be following in the footsteps of Ryu, getting overlooked here. And I've already done a discussion about this personally. For these three characters to step up into the spotlight, to take over the role as the lead protagonist of Street Fighter as a series, and to let Ryu and Ken fall back to the master roles. But they're not doing that. They're still keeping Ryu at the forefront. And then they're introducing a new character to play the foil to him, which he doesn't need. He doesn't need another foil. Ryu already has a foil, he has several of them. He does not need a new foil. He does not. What they need to do is build up some of the characters that they have already established. And I hope that maybe I'm over assuming too much, and that they are going to be establishing some of the former characters in more prominent roles. I really hope that they're doing that. And then the logo is super generic. First of all, you went from using Roman numerals as the number, which is which is weird because we're all used to Street Fighter having Roman numerals to show the different numbers. Every game up to this point has done that. And then secondly, because I saw it on Twitter, somebody had actually just gone into a logo maker and made almost the exact same logo. They literally almost identically made that logo, which is ridiculous, by just using a vector logo maker. I really wish I had screen capped it. I should have screen capped it or saved the image. That's horrible. Like, that's a super generic logo. You should have actually done your normal logo or something similar to it. But that's what they decided to do. Now, next is the Capcom Fighting Collection. I have no issues with that. I really, well, I mean, I have a couple minor issues with it. And that's mostly because they say they give you 5 different Darkstalkers games, which actually the truth is, they're, if I'm paying attention, they're actually only giving you 3, and 2 of them are just updated versions of the second and third game that re-released in Japan at a later date. They're not wholeheartedly different games. They're the same games just with some additions, which is fine, but they shouldn't label them as different games. That's like saying every iteration of Street Fighter 2 is a different game when they're not all different. There are some differences between them, but they're still essentially at the core, for the most part, the same game, unless you count the Turbo and Hyper Fighting and then the Super editions as separate games, which you could, but at their base, they're still basically the same thing. And then there's Street Fighter Hyper Fighting, I believe the game where all the characters are available Well, with the exception of the ones that came out for Ultra Street Fighter 2, they won't be available in that game. But that's fine. I like that. I'm happy that that's there. Then you have Cyberbots and was it Red Earth? There was one more. Wasn't there one more? Oh yeah, the Gem Fighter and Puzzle Fighter. I'm fine with all those being there. But in my mind, if you were going to do the Dark Stalkers thing, why not go back and take both the updated version of Rival Schools that came out on the PS1 and only was exclusive to Japan, remake that game or re-release that game with the translations for everyone, and then also re-release Project Justice 2, but Project Justice as a full game with all of the content to it, as well as having online play and stuff. That would have been much better. I mean, I hope that Capcom doesn't keep ignoring that franchise and they'll go ahead and say, yeah, one day we'll do it or like make a dual game compilation, but that would have been great for this, especially with them releasing Akira in Street Fighter V not that long ago. It would have been a great thing to add. I mean, the insult of those damn Darkstalkers costumes, at least you get three Darkstalkers games with two of them having two versions on there. But they could have done so much better. And now finally, Soul Hacker 2, Shin Megami Tensei Soul Hacker 2 is not coming to the Switch, but it's going to be on every other platform. Now, I've seen a couple people already say something about it being an issue with the Switch being able to run the game. There are literally games that look and play like what that game looks like it's going to play like on the Switch already. So I doubt it's engine issues or anything like that. I doubt it's an issue with them being able to run the game on the Switch. There's probably some other behind the scenes stuff that we don't know about, that we have no idea of, that's maybe written into some contract somewhere that it can't be put on the Switch immediately. Because we do tend to see that a plethora of games will come out day and date on the Switch with everything else, and then there's just some odd ones that for some reason aren't able to come out day and date. Now there's various reasons for that. Sometimes it's not even been considered, and then other times they couldn't get it running on time. But this does not look like it's one of those games that fits into that category. It's a Shin Megami Tensei game. It literally does not look like it fits into that category whatsoever. So to me, this is a contractual thing. Because it would be stupid of them to wholeheartedly leave out the idea of not putting it on the Switch. Mostly because the Switch is highly popular. Everything, for some reason, sells well on this little portable console that could. So it would not make much sense to go ahead and have the game, put all that work into it, and ignore where you have the biggest Japanese audience currently. It just looks really bad because the first one was ported to the DS from PS1 and Sega Saturn a long time ago. So honestly, it just looks odd. And it's not like Atlas doesn't have a working relationship with Nintendo and the Switch, because they have released a good deal of games on the Switch. So why take this one and ignore that platform? It it just doesn't bode as an idea that makes much sense, and it doesn't do you very well. And again, you're ignoring your Japanese audience at that point, because more of them would probably be likely to purchase this game on the Switch than they would be even a PlayStation platform. So that's honestly just a bad move. In general, it is a horribly bad move. And many people have pointed this out already on Twitter, on YouTube, and other places. So again, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're thinking, but this smells to me of a contract thing rather than it being an issue with the hardware. Because that game does not look like it's going to have any sort of trouble running on the Switch at all. But I mean, I don't have a whole lot more to say. And I think I've covered those three subjects pretty quickly and concisely. Um, if there's anything that anybody would like to add in comments, whether that be on Anchor or any other place that my podcast shows up, or on YouTube, please do make your comment. I'm here to hear it and give a rebuttal or a reply if necessary. But otherwise, thank you guys very much for listening and keep your eyes and ears out for more stuff from me. And until the next time, enjoy your games and peace out, everybody.